Hello everybody and welcome back to the 97 English course. In today's recording we're going to be going over Unit 6, Culture and Civilization. So as you guys all know, we always start with the key vocabulary here. So I'll say the words, you could always pause and say after me, and then we'll move to listening. Okay, let's go. Adult, aunt or aunt, boy, boyfriend, brother, cat, CD player, cell phone, child slash children, cousin, credit card, daughter, digital watch, dog, father, female, friend, girl, girlfriend, grandfather, grandmother, husband, laptop computer, male, man slash men, mother, MP3 player, old, parents, passport, person slash people, relatives, sister, son, teenager, uncle, wife, woman slash woman, young. Okay, now let's go to listening. Right, so here we have a couple pictures. Here we have people of different age groups, right? And before we listen to the audio here, you guys should acknowledge that these are old people, these are kids, they're female, these are male kids. So male is for men or kids that are boys, okay? Female, okay? And here we have young adults, okay? And I'm not too sure what this pic is right here is doing next to all the females, but we'll see. Let's start the listening. So exercise A95 is listen and point. So as usual, I'll play it once the first time and then I'll solve it, or whatever is necessary, I'll do it in the second time. Let's go.
95. Unit 6. Culture and Civilization. Lesson 1. Listening. Exercise A. Listen and point.
A man, a woman, a boy, a girl, a child, an adult, a female person, a male person, an old person, a young person.
Boys, girls, men, women, children, adults, females, males, friends.
Okay. Now I'm gonna play it again, you guys, but this time I want you to actually pause the video with every word and try to identify what the word means from the pictures here. Okay? So let's just, a brief example. If I say an old person, you guys should know that this is an old person. Okay? And I'll talk about the words after we finish the second time recording here. Let's go.
95. Unit 6. Culture and Civilization. Lesson 1. Listening. Exercise A. Listen and point.
A man, a woman, a boy, a girl, a child, an adult, a female person, a male person, an old person, a young person.
Boys, girls, men, women, children, adults, females, males, friends.
Okay, now I'm not gonna play it again, but I have the words, I wrote down the words here of voice 1 and voice 2, so the people that were speaking in that audio, and we'll try and identify what the words mean, okay? So first off, we have a man, and this is, normal, a man, this is a man, this is a man, these are men, okay? So the plural of the word man is not mans, you guys, okay? It's men. I changed the A and put E, okay? So a man, this is a man, these are men, okay? Second, we have a woman, okay? This is a woman, this is a woman, this is a woman, and this is also a woman. And plural for woman is not womans, it's women, okay? I change, that A in the end, and I put E, okay? So woman and plural women. Okay? Then we have a boy. This is a boy, a male kid. A boy. A girl. This is a girl right here. All these are girls. Okay? A child. A child is a small kid, so a child. These are children. Okay? So the plural of child is children. Okay? Then we have an adult, and an adult is basically someone from the age of 20 to, let's say, around 65. This is usually considered, an adult. And right after 65 is when we consider someone to be old. Okay? So a female person, obviously you guys know a female person is, it can be a woman or it can be a girl, so all these are female people. A male person, same thing here. A male, these are males, and one person, so this can be a male person, and this can be a male person. An old person, someone that's old, and as you can see, these fellow gentlemen here are old, so an old person is one of them. And then we have a young person, and you can see this kid right here, he's young, he still has his full life ahead of him, so this is a young person. And she's also young, so this can be a young person, right? Now we have the other dude that was talking, voice 2, and now he's gonna say the same words, but in plural, okay? So boys, these are boys, the capital, or not the capital, sorry, the plural of boys, or the plural of boy is boys, okay? Then we have girls, the plural of a girl is girls. Then we have men, okay? These are men, I told you guys. Women, okay? Women. Children, okay? The plural of a child is children, so I write the word child and then R-E-N. So children. Then we have adults. These are all adults, okay? People, from the age of 20 to, around 60, 65. And some people just prefer to call everybody adults, no matter how old. Okay? Females, these are females right here as well. Males, these are all males. And finally, friends. These are friends, these two, they're all friends. These are friends as well. Okay? So now let's move on to exercise B here. Listen and find. Okay? Now let's play the audio.
96. Exercise B. Listen and find.
Circle one person. Circle one boy. Circle the girls. Circle the boys. Circle the women. Circle the men. Circle the adults. Circle the children. Circle the people. Circle the male people. Circle the female people.
Okay, let's play that one more time, but this time I'm going to be solving it as we go through the audio.
96. Exercise B. Listen and find.
Circle one person.
So circle one person, you can circle anybody in these pictures, so because a person can be literally anyone, you guys. So I'll just circle this old dude right here, okay? So you can circle or just, write an arrow or something.
Circle one boy.
One boy, we know these guys are not boys, they're old men, so this is a boy, so circle one of them, okay?
Circle the girls.
Okay, so she said circle the girls, girls as in plural, okay? So I'm not going to circle one, so I could circle all of them, or I could circle, two of them or more, okay? But I cannot circle just one girl, alright, you guys? But, you can just circle all of them as in girls, okay?
Circle the boys.
Circle the boys, alright? So here we have the three boys as in plural, so we are gonna circle them.
Circle the women.
Circle the women, here we have the four women. I'm still not too sure, honestly, how this picture is related to these women, but whatever. So here we have these four women, and we'll circle them, okay?
Circle the men.
Circle the men. These are the men, not capital, plural of man, you guys. So men, circle these three fellow gentlemen right here.
Circle the adults.
Circle the adults. Okay, so I told you guys, an adult is basically someone right after the age of 19, so 20 to 65, 70-ish. So she looks like an adult. She looks like an adult. All of these are adults. These are also adults, okay? These are not because they're not over the age of 19 and they just look like kids. So these two pictures, we'll circle both of them, okay? So these are the adults.
Circle the children.
Now the exact opposite. Now instead of wanting the adults, he wants the children. So we'll circle these two pictures because these are kids and these are kids and they're all children.
Circle the people.
Okay, so we'll just circle everything right here and just name it people because people is literally everybody in these pictures, okay? So when I talk about people, I'm talking about everybody, okay? Everybody that's human is considered a person or people, okay? So these are people, these are people, these are people, and these are people.
Circle the male people.
Okay, circle the male people. Okay, so now she got a little bit more specific. So male people, so we'll circle, these men right here. And I'm not too sure if we should circle this guy, but you know what? Fine. So circle this guy, circle these people, or not, these people as in male people, and these kids, okay, as in male people as well.
Circle the female people.
And finally, the exact opposite. We'll circle all the female people here. So all the females will be circled in these two pictures right here. Alright? Now let's move on to exercise C. Listen and answer.
97. Exercise C. Listen and answer.
How many boys are there in the pictures? How many girls are there in the pictures?
How many adults are there? How many children are there?
How many people are there? How many male people are there?
How many female people are there?
Alright, let's play that one more time and I'll solve it as we go.
90. Exercise C. Listen and answer.
How many boys are there in the pictures?
Okay, let's look at the pictures, and we only have one picture that has boys, and we have 3 boys, okay? So, well, you can just write 3 beside it.
How many girls are there in the pictures?
Alright, how many girls? Notice he said girls and not women, okay? Or ladies. So girls as in young girls. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, so 4 here.
How many adults are there?
Alright, here we have adults. So you guys know what adult means by now. So here we have, this is an adult. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and finally this young dude right here. So 8, alright? So we have 8 adults.
How many children are there?
How many
How many people are there?
Okay, that was fast. We'll do the how many children are there first. So here we have 4 girls and 3 boys, so that is a total of 7. So okay, so 7 children. Okay, and what was the next one? How many people are there? How many people are there? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Okay, so number of people is 15. Okay, let me sure I got that correctly.
How many people are there? How many male
Okay, so yeah, 15. Okay, we can just write people 15. And I think I heard that right. How many male people?
people are there?
Okay, so how many male people? Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we have 7 male people in the 4 pictures.
How many female people are there?
Alright, now the exact opposite. How many female people? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? So 8 female people. And that's it. Alright. Now let's move on to exercise D here. And here we have listen, true or false. Okay, so he's going to give us, you know, a statement or a sentence, and we have to check if it's true or false. Okay?
98. Exercise D. Listen. True or false?
1,
There are 8 adults. There are 5 women and 3 men.
2,
There are 14 people. There are 9 male people and 5 female people.
3. There are 6 children, 4 girls and 2 boys. 4.
There aren't any female children.
Okay, so now, actually, I'm gonna play it again, you guys, and then, you know, I'll solve it right after.
90. Exercise D. Listen. True or false?
1,
There are 8 adults. There are 5 women and 3 men.
2,
There are 14 people. There are 9 male people and 5 female people.
3. There are 6 children, 4 girls and 2 boys. 4.
There aren't any female children.
Alright. Now let me actually read the statements again, and then we'll make sure if everything is right or true or false. Okay? So number 1 was there are 8 adults, there are 5 women, and 3 men. Okay? So let's check the adults here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we have 8 adults. Okay, so that's correct. There are 5 women. Okay, I'm not too sure how they noticed that this was a man or a woman, sorry. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we have 4 women, not 5. Okay, so this on its own makes the statement false, by the way. Okay, and 3 men. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so everything is true except for that part where he said 5 women. Okay, so first statement will be false. Okay, now let's move on to number 2. There are 14 people. There are 9 male people and 5 female people. Okay, so total is there are 14 people. Okay, so let's actually count it one more time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and finally 15. Okay, so there are 15 people, not 14, so this makes the statement, you know, false. But let's just keep going. There are nine male people. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We only have 7 male people, so this is also false. Okay, and we have 5 female people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is obviously just false to the bone, you guys. So let's move on to number 3. There are 6 children, 4 girls, and 2 boys. Okay, so there are 6 children. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Obviously wrong again. Here we have 4 and we have 8. Okay, so we have 8 children total. Okay, 4 girls, this one's, yeah, true, and 2 boys, wrong. So that makes the statement also false. Okay, now let's go to number 4. There aren't any female children. This is just obviously wrong to the bone again. We have 4 female children here. Okay, now let's move on here. Here we have, a few words here related obviously to people as well. So here we have a baby, child, teenager, young adult, and old person. And I wanted to tell you guys, a baby is usually someone from, ever since, from 0 years old basically to 18 months or 2 years, okay? So the first 2 years of your life, you're a baby, okay? No questions asked about that. And then after 2 years, you're considered a child, okay? So a child is someone from around, maybe, 3 years old to around 12, okay? So this is an age of being a child. And then after that, you have teenager. And you guys remember this word when we talked about that unit that had the numbers. I told you guys, the numbers that had the teen word in the end, it's the same thing with teenagers. And this is where the word is from, actually. So, you guys remember, 13 to 19 are teenagers, okay? So a lot of people confuse this with, in some places, the legal age is 18. So people consider themselves adults when they're 18 or after 18. And that is true according to the law, but, according to just, your age as a human being, you're a teenager from 13 years old to 19 years old, okay? You're considered a teenager. And right after that, you're considered a young adult, or basically an adult, okay? People just use the word young to, I'm not too sure, honestly. So someone from 20 to 25 years old is usually considered a young adult. Anything after that, and he's just simply an adult, okay? And finally, we have an old person. An old person is someone, 60, 65 years old and above is considered someone that's, he's like really old, okay? So now let's go to exercise E here. Look at the photographs above and listen, okay? So listen and number, you guys know the drill, and listen and answer. So let's listen right now.
99. Exercise E1. Listen and number.
1,
How old are you?
15.
Ah, so you're a teenager now.
Yes, that's right.
2,
Do you have any children?
Yes, I have one child. He's 10.
3,
It's strange, I'm 80, but I don't feel like an old person.
4,
She is a nurse. She works in a hospital. She's about 30.
5,
What a lovely baby. How old is she?
She's 10 months.
Right, now let's listen to that again, but this time I'll be, pausing it and answering the exercise here. Or should I say numbering the words.
99. Exercise E1. Listen and number.
1,
How old are you?
15.
Ah, so you're a teenager now.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so the first word is teenager.
2,
Do you have any children?
Yes, I have one child.
I have one child, so the word child will be number 2.
He's 10.
3, It's strange, I'm 80, but I don't feel like an old person.
Old person will be number 3, you guys.
4,
She is a nurse. She works in a hospital. She's about 30.
Okay, so he didn't exactly say young adult, right? But, the signs or the information given, they're really obvious. So she's a nurse, okay, and she's about 30 years old, so she's considered a young adult, okay? So number 4 will be young adult.
5,
What a lovely baby. How old is she?
She's 10 months.
All right, final word will be baby, okay? Now let's move on to 100. Listen and answer. I'm gonna play it once.
100. Exercise E2. Listen and answer.
How old is the baby? How old is the boy? What about the teenager? Is the woman about 50? Is the old person about 60?
Okay, so in order to answer these questions here, you guys, you're gonna have to listen to this one again right here, but this time just focus on the information, okay? Don't focus about numbering anything right now, just focus about the information given, alright? So listen carefully.
99. 1. Listen and number.
1. How old are you?
15.
Ah, so you're a teenager now.
Yes, that's right.
2. Do you have any children?
Yes, I have one child. He's 10.
3. It's strange, you know. I'm 80, but I don't feel like an old person. 4.
She is a nurse. She works in a hospital. She's about 30.
5.
What a lovely baby. How old is she?
She's 10 months.
Alright, now let me play this for you guys again, and try to pause it and answer it yourself, okay?
100. Exercise E2. Listen and answer.
How old is the baby? How old is the boy? What about the teenager? Is the woman about 50? Is the old person about 60?
Okay, now I'm gonna play
One-
it again. Oh, my bad. So I'm gonna play it again, and this time I'll be pausing it, yeah, I'll be pausing it, or not, depending on the seconds that I can use to answer, okay? So, let's go.
100. Exercise E2. Listen and answer.
How old is the baby?
The baby is 10 months.
How old is the boy?
The boy is 10 years old.
What about the teenager?
She's 15.
Is the woman about 50?
No, the woman is 30 years old.
Is the old person about 60?
No, he's not. He's 80 years old. Okay, you guys? This was simple enough. Now, let's move on. Here we have listen and write. Write the ages in, from, and to, and then 101, listen and check, okay? So, like I told you guys, like I told you guys, here we have baby, child, teenager, adult, and finally old person, and he wants the age from to, okay? So we have to put two numbers down here from, a specific number to another specific number, and then we're gonna have to listen and check. But actually, let's listen first so we get the information, and then we'll write it down.
101. Exercise F2. Listen and check.
OK, today we're looking at words for different kinds of people. In British culture, we use the word baby for the first 18 months, or maybe 2 years of life. Then the baby becomes a child. We use the word child for boys and girls between the ages of 2 and 12. Then we have a special word, teenager. The word comes from the numbers between 13 and 19. They all end in teen. So a person who is 13, 14, 15 and so on is a teenager. Finally, we have the word adult. We use the word for people from 20 up to, 100. But sometimes we say, he is old, or she is an old person, for someone over 65 or 70. And of course, we can say young adult for people of around 20 to 25. Is it the same in your culture? When does a baby become a child? When does a teenager become an adult? When is a person old?
Alright, these were some pretty valuable information, okay? So now let's go, here we have, so baby. So from, let's just say 0 right here, right? And she said around, 18 months or 2 years. So let's just write 2 here, as in 2 years, okay? And then we have child, okay? A child is usually from 2 years old to around 12, okay? And then we have teenager, you guys know this one, 13 to 19, okay? And adult is someone from around 20 to, I think she said, 100. Most people don't live that long, by the way. It's sad, but it's the truth. So adult is 20 years old to 100, and an old person is, we could say, for example, 65 or around 70. Okay? And two, depending on how old, the person lives, right? So baby, 0 to 2 years old, child, 2 years old to 12 years old, adult, 13 years old to 19 years old, or teenager, sorry, 13 to 19, adult, 20 years old to 100, old person, 65 or to 70, or just simply 70 years old, or no matter how long that person lives. Now let's go down here. Here we have exercise G. Study the words in the box and write each word under the correct underlined vowel sound, okay? And then he wants us to listen and check, okay? So here we have, a few words. Let me actually open this up for you guys. Okay? So here we have some words, and we have some different sounding vowels, okay? So for example, here we have a 10. You guys see how that E is pronounced in 10? You can, okay? 6, as I don't say sykes, I say 6, you guys, okay? So that I will be that sound, okay? Then we have 3, you guys see that E, okay? So 3. Then we have that I sound, so 5, 5. Then we have that A sound, so 8, okay? 30, that A, then similar to that A, but kind of different, okay? So now let's listen. I'll actually let you guys listen to this twice, and then I'll solve it.
102. Exercise G2. Listen and check.
Baby. Child. Children. Female. Friend. Girl. Male. Men. Person. People. Women.
Alright, let's listen to that one more time.
102. Exercise G2. Listen and check.
Baby. Child. Children. Female. Friend. Girl. Male. Men. Person. People. Women.
Okay, now let me try and solve it. I hope you're able to get a few words in. So basically we have the word 10, and usually it kind of rhymes or just makes a similar sound. So what words here make the same sound as 10, or it has that same pronunciation for E? So we could say men. So we can write it down here. So men, right? So 10, men. Friend, you guys see that? Friend, okay, or oops, I did not mean to write it like that. Friend, okay, so 10, men, and friend. And then we have 6, children, okay, so pronouncing the first half could give you kind of a clue to, whether it's true or not. So 6, chilled, so children, okay? And actually, you gotta understand the question. So he says the word might not sound similar at all. Like for example, 6 and children don't rhyme at all, but he doesn't want any rhyming words. He wants each word, with the underlined vowel sound. So he only wants the sound of the vowel and not the whole word, sorry. So 6 children, or 6 children, okay? And then women, okay? 6 chilled women, okay? Kind of that sound right there, okay? 6 children, women. And then we have 3 female. You guys see that? So 3 female, okay? So 3 people, okay? So people. So 3 female people. And I think there's only one word that fits here with 5. So 5 can be child, okay? So 5 child, all right? And then we have 8. 8 can be male. 8 male, okay? And 8 babe. So you guys know, if I don't pronounce the Y at the end of baby, it sounds a lot like 8. So 8 babe, all right? Then we have 30 girl, okay? Really close. This one's really close actually. So 30 girl. If I put a Y here, it sounds like kind of exactly the same. So 30 girly, okay? Person, okay? So here we have person. Alright, you guys? So this was the final exercise here. Now let's move on to speaking. Alright, you guys, so here we have the speaking section, lesson 2 of this unit. And what we want to actually focus on in this unit is to give a talk about your own family and really try to understand, the words of family, okay? So we talked about it a little bit in the listening, but here we got to focus more on it and try to memorize it, So when I tell you, a grandfather, what's a grandfather? What does it mean? Or not rather what, but who, okay? What is a child? Who is a child, okay? So here we have 4 pictures, as you can see, different people, different age groups, obviously. And actually, here's a good question. So exercise A, how many of these people are there in each? So we have teenagers, babies, boys, women, children, men, girls, and adults, okay? So this will obviously be up to you, how you form a sentence on, how many adults, how many kids, or how many children are in each picture. But let me just give you some possible answers. Obviously, you can pause it, solve this, and then come back to check. So let's go. So number 1, here we have an older man, so sort of like the father figure, okay, or actually a father. And here we have the mother. And it seems that we have 2 teenagers here. One is male and one is female. So I could say 2 teenagers, 2 adults, 1 girl, 1 boy, 1 man, and 1 woman, okay? So I can say 2 adults, and I can also say 1 man, 1 woman, and I can also say both, okay? Now let's go to number 2 here. So it seems that we have a woman here, okay? So 1 woman, and she's also an adult, so I can say 1 adult. And here we have 4 children, right? So 1 woman, 1 adult, 4 children, 2 girls, okay? 1 boy, and 1 baby, okay? So this baby right here is considered, a child slash baby, right? So 1 woman, 1 adult, 4 children, 2 girls, 1 boy, and finally 1 baby. Now let's go to number 3 here. Here we have, as you can see, 2 women, right? I can also say 2 men. We see 2 men over here. 4 adults, so the total number of adults in the picture, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 adults, 2 children, 1 boy, and 1 girl, okay? So let's go now to number 4. Okay, and look at the photograph. So here, there are, okay, so let's actually check here. So we have, how many adults do we have here? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, 11, and is she an adult? I'm not too sure. So, you know, we can just, yeah, yeah, she's an adult, you know? So 13 adults total, okay? How many men? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 men, okay? And how many women? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 women, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 children, okay? And that's about it. Yeah, these are good information. Alright? So now let's go to exercise B. Look at the family words in the first column of table 1, okay? Take the correct column. Okay. So here we have, you know, a column here. So we have these words, right? And he wants to know, you know, what does it represent, as in, you know, male or female or both. So can the word be used only for male or for female, or can you just say it for all people, you know, as in your relatives and such? So I'll actually just read them first, and then we'll take them together. Actually, let's see if I can take them with you guys here. Okay, that's good. So I can. So let me start. So we have aunt or aunt, whatever you prefer, brother, cousin, daughter, father, grandfather, grandmother, husband, mother, parents, relatives, sister, son, uncle, wife. Okay, now let's solve it together. So number 1 is obviously aunt, and when I'm talking about an aunt, obviously female, you guys, okay? Male would be uncle, okay? So uncle male, aunt is female, okay? Brother is obviously male. Cousin can be used for both. So if I'm referring to my cousin, I gotta specify more. Is she female? Is she male? You know? And here we have father, obviously male, okay? Grandfather, male as well, okay? Grandmother, female, easy. Husband is male, right? Mother is female. Parents, so when I'm talking about parents, I can use both because I didn't specify, okay? Relatives can be both as well. You know, when I'm talking about relatives in general, I'm not specifying to a group of people. So for example, males or females, I'm talking about both. Sister will be female. Son is obviously male. And here we go, uncle. You guys remember this? So uncle will be male. And finally, wife. Wife will be female, okay? Now here we have pairs of family words that I want you guys to listen to. And I'm going to play it twice, right? But I'm not going to interfere at all. And I'll just move on right after that. So you can pause, you know, however many times you want, and just try to listen to the pair. So for example, husband and wife, you know, sister and brother, okay? So let's go.
104. Lesson 2. Speaking. Exercise B2. Listen to pairs of family words. Repeat each pair.
Mother and father, brother and sister, son and daughter, uncle and aunt, mother and daughter, father and son, parents and children, grandparents and grandchildren, husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend, children and babies, parents and relatives.
Alright, that was pretty self-explanatory. Now let me play it one more time and then we'll move on.
104. Lesson 2. Speaking. Exercise B2. Listen to pairs of family words. Repeat each pair.
Mother and father, brother and sister, son and daughter, uncle and aunt, mother and daughter, father and son, parents and children, grandparents and grandchildren, husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend, children and babies, parents and relatives.
Alright, that was easy enough. Now let's move on. So here we have find an example of each pair in the photos above. Okay, so we have, some of the pairs. We don't need to do too much here. So here, for example, we could say husband and wife, mother and father, or these two could be parents as well, so mother and father, husband and wife, okay, or girlfriend and boyfriend, I'm not too sure, okay. Here we also have, brother and sister, and so on. You guys get the idea. So now actually let's move to the rest of exercise B. Here we have draw your family tree. This one's actually going to be entirely up to you, however you like to write it, okay? So here we have my grandmother equals my dash, right? And then with these two, you get dash, 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 and then your father. And from your father, you get this, you, and, any other siblings. Or this would be just you, okay? So you can draw your own family tree, but let's just try and complete this first, okay? And this will entirely be up to you, so there's not one definitive answer, okay? So we have my grandmother. I could probably say the only logical word that comes next is my grandfather, okay? And these are pairs as well, you guys. So my grandmother, my grandfather, pairs of words. Probably my aunt, okay? So my aunt, my uncle, and my mother equals my father, okay? So here will be my aunt, A-U-N-T, my uncle, and my mother. And that equals my father. And from my father, I could get, if I have a sister, I'd say my sister, me, and my brother. But, if I don't have a brother, you can scratch this, right? So this will be entirely up to you. If you're an only child, you can just leave this blank and cut this one out, okay? So now let's listen to exercise C. Which person is speaking? Okay, so I'm guessing this is just going to be, some people talking, right? And we're going to have to guess, who's exactly speaking. Like, is it a father, a son, a child? Okay, so let's listen to it here.
105. Exercise C. Listen. Which person is speaking?
In this photo you can see my son and daughter. They are looking at holiday photos on our laptop. My husband is typing.
In this photo, I am with my family. You can see my brother, my two younger sisters, and also my baby sister. Her name is Jane. My father is taking the photograph.
In this photo, you can see all the people in my house. My mother is on the right and my father is on the left. My wife is in the middle. You can see our two children, Sarah and Ben.
In this photo, you can see all my relatives. We have a big family. It's a birthday party. My grandmother is 80. All my aunts and uncles and cousins are in the photo. My mother is in the middle in the blue dress. My father is standing behind her. I'm sitting on the right. My baby is with me.
Alright, so now let's listen to it again, but this time with pauses.
105. Exercise C. Listen. Which person is speaking?
In this photo you can see my son and daughter. They are looking at holiday photos on our laptop. My husband is typing.
Okay, so she said she has a son and daughter, and they're looking at holiday photos, and she also said in the end, my husband is typing. So she is obviously a wife slash mother. Okay, now let's move on.
In this photo, I am with my family. You can see my brother, my two younger sisters, and also my baby sister. Her name is Jane. My father is taking the photograph.
Okay, so she said you can see her brother, her two younger sisters, and also her baby sister. so obviously she's a sister as well, okay?
In this photo, you can see all the people in my house. My mother is on the right and my father is on the left. My wife is in the middle. You can see our two children, Sarah and Ben.
Okay, so this dude has quite the life going on. Okay, so all the people are in his house. His mother's on the right, his father's on the left. His wife, he said, was in the middle, I think. And his two children, Sarah and Ben, were also there. So he's obviously a father/husband. Okay?
In this photo, you can see all my relatives. We have a big family. It's a birthday party. My grandmother is 80. All my aunts and uncles and cousins are in the photo. My mother is in the middle in the blue dress. My father is standing behind her. I'm sitting on the right. My baby is with me.
Okay, so from that information, we know that she's a mother. You know, her grandmother is 80. All her aunts or uncles, or you could say relatives, are in the photo. Her mother's in the middle, and her father is standing behind her. So she's sitting on the right, and that piece of information at the end, you guys gotta always pay attention. She said in the end, my baby is with me. That was the deal breaker, you guys. So my baby is with me, just she's a mother, okay? Now let us move on. Here we have, look at the conversation, listen to the conversation, and then listen and speak. Okay, so I can already tell from the pictures here. Actually, let me open this up. And there are two people talking. I'm guessing about location and where does he live. So let's listen to it.
106. Exercise D1. Listen to the conversation.
Where do you live?
In an apartment in the city centre.
Is it near the university?
No, it isn't. The bus takes 40 minutes.
Who do you live with?
My parents, my brothers, and my sisters.
Is it a big apartment?
No, it isn't. Sometimes it's very difficult.
Do you have a part-time job?
Yes, I do. I work in a computer shop.
Okay, now let's listen to it again, but this time just pay attention to the details, okay? Because in the next, we're gonna have to listen and speak, you guys, okay? And I want you to pause the video and speak in the next one. So please just listen to this again and try to gather as much information as possible.
100. Exercise D1. Listen to the conversation.
Where do you live?
In an apartment in the city centre.
Is it near the university?
No, it isn't. The bus takes 40 minutes.
Who do you live with?
My parents, my brothers, and my sisters.
Is it a big apartment?
No, it isn't. Sometimes it's very difficult.
Do you have a part-time job?
Yes, I do. I work in a computer shop.
Alright, I hope you were able to gather some pretty valuable information. Now listen and speak, and I'm actually gonna play this once, okay? So only once, you guys. And we're gonna have pauses, and you can pause the video, you guys. It's okay. You don't need to be limited to a 2-second window, you know, and you don't necessarily have to say the same information. If you feel like you want to, you know, say your own answer in a different setting, for example, or environment, please go ahead. I'm not stopping you, okay? Just speak your mind or from the information above.
107. Exercise D2. Listen and speak.
Where do you live?
In an apartment in the city centre.
Is it near the university?
No, it isn't. The bus takes 40 minutes.
Who do you live with?
My parents, my brothers, and my sisters.
Is it a big apartment?
No, it isn't. Sometimes it's very difficult.
Do you have a part-time job?
Yes, I do. I work in a computer shop.
Alright. Now you can always practice the conversation in pairs, you know, and I actually encourage this. So if you have like a classmate or a partner, you know, in your free time, you can always just ask, the same questions, but with a different style, however you like, and try to give, as much true information as possible, okay? So try not to lie too much, even if your life is not that interesting, alright? I'm just kidding, by the way, about that last part. So, now, let's go to exercise E. Here we have choose verbs and phrases to make sentences. Okay, so we have some verbs here. Live, work, study, have. And with these verbs, we should make, with the phrases here, we have in a bank, a brother, a cat, in a house, in an apartment, alone, with my parents, psychology, in the city center, in a village, two sisters, at university. Okay, so the options here are unlimited, you guys. So you can use each and every verb here to make a lot of sentences. So for example, let's start with the word live. Okay, so for example, obviously I can say I live in a house. Okay, my sister lives in an apartment. I could say my dad lives alone. Okay, but I'd have to add an S here. Alright? So my sister lives in an apartment. I live in a house. And for example, I could also say, for the word live as well, I live in the city center. Okay? My brother lives with my parents, for example. Okay? The options are limitless. Here we have work. So I could say, same style as well. I work in a bank. Alright? I work in the city center. Again, that works too. I work, I think that's about it. So not too much there. And so let's actually go to study. There we have study. This is actually going to be limitless. So I could say, my brother studies psychology. But guys, remember, I'd have to get rid of the Y here and add IES. Or I could simply say, I study psychology. Okay? I study alone, just because why not? I study in an apartment. I know it's probably weird, but it works. Hey, if it works, it works. I study at university. Alright? Have. So this is actually interesting. I could say, I have a cat. I have a brother. No, but if I say my sister, then that would change have into has, okay? But if I add plural, so instead of my sister, I could say, if I say my siblings as in, my brothers and sisters, so my siblings have a cat. You see how that works out? Okay? I could say, not too much actually. Should we have a cat and brother and nothing else? So have goes with a cat and brother. Okay? Now let's go to exercise F 108. Listen to his students talk about his family. Okay, so we have a student here that's going to talk about his family, and we're going to have to write notes. So I'm actually going to play this twice, and then I'll write the notes down with you guys.
108. Exercise F. Listen to a student's talk about his family.
Okay, this talk is about my home and family and my work. We're a small family. There are 2 adults, my mother and father, and there are 2 teenagers, my brother and me. I don't have a sister. I live with my parents in a small house. It's about, 2 kilometers from the city. There's a small garden and we have a cat. I study English and tourism at university. I have a part-time job at the weekend. I work in my father's restaurant. That's all.
Alright, so you guys are going to need to master the art of making notes, because it'll actually help tremendously later when you actually start your courses in university and such. So you gotta have that art of, being able to listen to a lecture and just being able to make notes that will help you later on. Or for example, if you're preparing for a speech or something, and I'll actually talk more once I finish this exercise here. So now listen again, but this time try to focus on the information as much as possible, okay? And write it down, so whenever you think there's something on your mind that, for example, related to adults, write it down, okay? Don't hesitate. Teenagers, sisters, parents, city. Okay, you guys get the idea. So let's go.
1. Exercise F. Listen to a student's talk about his family.
Okay, this talk is about my home and family and my work. We're a small family. There are 2 adults, my mother and father, and there are 2 teenagers, my brother and me. I don't have a sister. I live with my parents in a small house. It's about, 2 kilometers from the city. There's a small garden and we have a cat. I study English and tourism at university. I have a part-time job at the weekend. I work in my father's restaurant. That's all.
Alright, I hope you were able to get some notes down, and I actually wrote them myself as well. So let's hop right into the answers. So we have adults. He said there were 2 adults, so we'll just write 2. Okay. Father, just for extra information, father and mother. Okay. Oops, mother. And teenagers, he said 2 as well. So 2, brother and himself. Or I could say me or himself. So I'll just write himself. Oh, I did not mean to add that E. Okay. And sisters, none. So I could just write none. Parents. So in parents, I think he said something along the lines of he lives with them. So I could just say lives with, right? And he also mentioned that they have a small house, so I could write that. So small house. Then we have city. So the city, actually remember this, he actually said that the city is 2 kilometers from his house. So I could say 2 kilometers. Let me actually do this. Kilometers from house. Okay? And the thing about notes, you guys, is that you don't really need to be, you know, you know, I'm sorry, you don't need to use like the correct grammar. Like you can skip some words if it means being faster to get more notes in. You know what I mean? Because when a teacher is, for example, giving a lecture, right? There's no time for you to write sentences upon sentences of the same subject, right? You gotta just write something really quick that gives you that memorization that you need, and then move on, right? So I could say, you know, the city is 2 kilometers from his house, okay? But I could just write 2 kilometers from house and move on, okay? That speed is needed, and it's acquired by practice, okay? So always practice making notes in your free time. Okay, so here we have garden, and I think he said something along the lines of they had a small garden. So instead of saying a small garden, I could just write small, okay? If it's too advanced right now, I could say small garden, okay? But whatever, you know, whatever you're comfortable with. Cat, he said they have a cat, so probably give this just a simple yes. Oh, yes, okay? University, and he said he studies English and tourism. So I could say study, okay, English and and tourism. Okay? Study English and tourism. And finally, job. He said he had or he has a part-time job. Part-time. I don't really need to write job, so part-time. And he works at his father's restaurant, if I remember correctly. So restaurant. Okay? And that's it. Okay, so adults 2, father, mother, teenagers 2, brother himself, sisters none, parents lives with, small house, city 2 kilometers from house, garden, small garden, cat, yes, he has a cat, university, study English and tourism, and finally job, part-time and restaurant. Okay? So now he wants you to give a talk about your family on exercise G. Make notes and prepare your talk, and give the talk in pairs or groups. Let me give you a piece of advice when making notes to prepare for, you know, a talk, or just if you're gonna speak to someone, whether to a group of people publicly or or if it's simply an assignment, you know. And it's actually written here as well. So we have make notes for your talk. Practice saying any new or difficult words, and practice the sentences for your talk. And remember, please remember this, this is very important. Don't read full sentences aloud and look up from your notes. Okay, so what he means by this is, like, you don't just take that piece of paper that you have your notes in and just start reading it in front of people. That is both disrespectful and bad on your part, okay? What you do is you use your notes to give you just kind of a reminder, you know what I mean? So associate a certain, thing, a certain idea or information from your notes, and you can just give it a quick look, or a second look, or 2-second look, regain your thoughts, and start speaking. This is what your notes are helpful for. Besides, writing things down makes you memorize it a lot easier. So this is how notes benefit you guys, okay? And always, 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 before giving a talk, don't leave yourself to the last minute. Always practice, even if it means, for example, record yourself. We have technology that, hell, I'm recording right now, okay? So record yourself, look in a mirror, okay? And try to imitate the environment that you're gonna be in, right? So you don't feel embarrassed or such. Just try your best to get more and more comfortable, whether it means pronouncing difficult words or new words that you simply didn't know yet. So everybody has new words, okay? So always practice, okay? You can fail a lot of times, but try and get better and better each time, okay? Take a break whenever you need to, and practice the sentences for your talk, alright? And please, 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 don't read full sentences aloud. That is not allowed. Just take a quick idea, take a quick glance at your notes, and start talking, right? And I'll see you guys in the next one. Alright, you guys, so now let's move on to Lesson 3, Vocabulary and Pronunciation. And here we have some pictures, right? And he wants us to match these words here with these pictures. So before we do that, please pause the video and take a look at each picture and try and guess, the best word that fits with the picture, okay? So actually, let me just open this real quick. Here we have the pictures again, and we have the words here. So we have pet, digital watch, laptop computer, passport, credit card, cell phone, MP3 player, CD player, okay? So first word, pet. What does a pet mean? A pet is an animal that you take home and treat it as your own. I just pulled that out of my mind. I swear to God, I did not prepare for this. Okay, so pet will be right here. Okay, so you see a lot of people have pet cats and pet dogs and pet rabbits and such. Okay, that's what it means. And then we have digital watch. A digital watch is, unlike an ordinary watch, has numbers on it. Okay, so an ordinary watch has, you guys know the arrows or hands that move. These digital watches don't have that. They just have a screen, and hence the name digital. Okay, so let's put this here. And we have laptop computer. Obviously you guys know what laptop computer is. Here we go. Passport. Everybody has a passport. It's what allows you to travel and basically your identity. So let me take this here and boom. Okay, and then we have a cell phone. Okay, cell phone is the new generation of phones that use 4G and internet and all the other stuff. Okay, we have CD player. Nobody uses those, by the way. These are long gone. So CD player right here. And we have MP3 player, this right here. And finally we have credit card. Credit card is a card that you use to, like kind of take a loan out, but not a big loan, but kind of like just a quick loan that you'll pay off like in a month or something like that, right? So now let's move on. Here we have exercise B. A student is asking questions. Listen and complete his conversation with a teenager. Alright, so let's listen to it the first time, and then we'll see what we'll do.
109. Lesson 3. Vocabulary and Pronunciation. Exercise B. A student is asking questions. Listen and complete his conversation with a teenager.
I am doing a survey on possessions.
Okay.
Can I ask you some questions?
Yes, sure.
Do you have a credit card?
No, I don't.
Do you have a digital watch?
Pardon? What kind of watch?
A digital watch.
What's a digital watch?
It has numbers, like 235. It doesn't have hands.
Oh, right. Yes, I do.
Alright, that was an interesting conversation. Now let's play it again, but this time I'll be solving it with you guys.
109. Lesson 3. Vocabulary and Pronunciation. Exercise B. A student is asking questions. Listen and complete his conversation with a teenager.
I am doing a survey on possessions.
Okay.
Can I ask you some questions?
Yes, sure.
Do you have a credit card?
No, I don't.
Do you have a digital watch?
Pardon? What kind of watch?
A digital watch.
What's a digital watch?
It has numbers, like 235. It doesn't have hands.
Oh, right. Yes, I do.
Alright, now let's actually read this one more time. So I'm doing a survey on possessions. She says, okay, can I ask you some questions? Yes, sure. Do you have a credit card? No, I don't. Do you have a digital watch? Okay, pardon. And the word pardon here, it's sort of similar to excuse me, right? So when you don't understand someone, for example, and you want to grab their attention, so you say excuse me, or you say sorry, or you can say pardon me, okay, or pardon, okay? So what kind of watch? A digital watch. What's a digital watch? It has numbers. For example, 235. It doesn't have hands. And she says, oh right, yes I do. Alright. Now, let's move on here. Okay, so exercise C. Have conversations about the possessions in the photographs above. Give true information. So this exercise right here is best done with classmates or friends. So, take a look at the pictures above here. Here we have a laptop, computer, passport, credit cards, etc. And he wants you to just give true information about yourself. Like, for example, let a classmate ask you questions and give true information. So, for example, I could say, do you have a laptop? And someone would answer, yeah, yes I do. Okay. Do you have a digital watch? No, I don't. Do you have a pet? No, I don't. Do you have a credit card? Yes, I do. And you guys get the idea. Now, let's move on to exercise D here. And here we have complete the sentences with true information about yourself. Okay? So this is just going to be entirely up to you, honestly. So there's no definitive answer. Just do whatever you feel. What's true about yourself. So for example, I dash in a large house. So for me, personally, I'd say I don't, alright, I'll just write don't live in a large house, right? I have a credit card, or I do not have a credit card. So I could say I don't have a credit card, okay? Computing, I could say I like computing, or I could say I study computing, okay? I have a laptop computer, okay? Same thing with passport. I have a passport. And I could say I study at university, or if you don't, that would be weird, but I don't study at university, right? Now let's move on. Here we have the pie charts, and I'm personally a big fan of pie charts. They make, reading statistics so much easier. You'll understand why in a second. So copy each word or phrase below in the correct space. So here we have a full ball, an orange circle, and then some of that circle turns kind of sky blue, right? And then it grows more. So let's say, for example, this is just an example, by the way, this is not related to the exercise. So let's say this was, for example, sugar, right? The blue sky is sugar, and the orange, or dark brown, not honestly like orange, let's just say orange, is honey, okay? So now I can kind of guess the ratio between the two. So here in this pie chart right here, or not pie chart, yeah, in pie chart, I could say you know, sugar is a lot more than honey. Here I could say, you know, honey's catching up, but sugar is still a lot more, right? And here, honey's starting to take over. And here is honey, no sugar at all. And here is little sugar, okay? So based on what we just did, we know that this is all. He gave us number 1, okay? So this means that this is full, all. And the statistics, by the way, you're the one that puts the information. So this is just a normal pie chart. People use, this can be money, this can be gold. Just depends on what you're using the pie chart for. So number 1 is all, okay? Number 2 is probably, I'd say, most, okay? Because most, it's so close, but it's still not quite all. So most. Then number 3 will be many, okay? Because it's quite a lot, but it's not most, right? So it's kind of many, all right? And then we have 4. 4 will probably be some. So some as in, you know, yeah, cool. Not too much, not too little, you know, some. And then we have 5 is few, or a few, okay? A few is as in, you know, there is not too much, just a little bit, right? I hope that was easy. You guys need to study the pie charts more. They're really helpful. So read the text about teenage life in Britain. Write a suitable noun in each space. Okay, so let's actually open this and read it together. And we'll just write the nouns down as we go. So we have all teenagers in Britain dash or stay at dash to the age of 16. So to the age of 16, I'm guessing the lowest is probably school. Okay, so all teenagers in Britain stay at school to the age of 16. Many teenagers stay another 2 dash. I'm guessing 2 years because most people finish when they're 18. So many teenagers stay another 2 years. Some teenagers go to university or dash after school. Make college, only suitable answer honestly, after school. Many teenagers have a part-time, this one's obvious, job, you guys, okay? Have a part-time job, okay? Most teenagers in Britain live with their, I'm guessing parents. So parents, okay? Most teenagers live in homes, houses. Okay. Oh, all right. Look. You guys remember in the last unit when we talked about, you know, if you don't understand a certain word or you're confused, always look front or back. So here I read most teenagers live in dash, but then when you go forward, some houses. So now I know that he's talking about houses. Okay. So I'll write here houses. Okay. Most teenagers live in houses. Some houses have a small garden, and a few teenagers live alone. But actually I read that wrong. Some houses have a small garden, and then that's a full stop. So a few teenagers live alone. You can leave, I'm guessing home. You can leave home in Britain at 16. Many teenagers have a... Alright, again, same thing. You don't know what he's talking about? Go forward. Cats and I'm guessing dogs. They forgot to write it down. So cats and dogs are very popular. So yes, now I know that he's talking about pets, right? Have a pet. Oh, have a pet. Okay. Oh, my bad. Cats and dogs are very popular. Most teenagers in Britain have a cell. This one's obvious. Cell phone. Okay. Most teenagers in Britain have an MP3 player. This one's obvious. Quite old, and we don't use MP3 players anymore, but that's a different topic. Some teenagers don't have a CD player. A CD player is that thing that you guys saw in the beginning of the lesson. Some teenagers don't have a CD player now. Now as in it's kind of old. Okay? So some teenagers don't have a passport. And that I find that strange, honestly. Some teenagers don't have a passport. They have holidays in Britain. A few teenagers go on holiday alone. They are really undermining teenagers, huh? Anyway, Alright, so all teenagers, so we have school, years, college, job, parents, houses, home, pet, phone, player, player again, passport, and finally holiday. Okay, these are the nouns for exercise F here. Now let's move on to reading. Alright you guys, lesson 4, reading. Let's dive right in. So exercise A, when can you do these things in your country? So we have leave school, leave home, drive a car, and get married. Okay, and some of these are actually kind of more of a cultural thing more than it is a law. Like obviously something like getting married or driving a car, this is obviously going to have some sort of law. But leaving home in school can be kind of cultural, you know what I mean? Like for example, you know, in my country, Egypt, you know, you can leave school at basically any time you want, right? Obviously, your parents must know and they should, you know, sign some papers or whatever, but you know, as long as they know, you're fine, okay? And for me personally, obviously the questions here are obviously entirely up to you, so just don't write anything, you know, that I say. Write things based on your own country. So number 2, leave home. And leave home, this is kind of controversial because, you know, in some places you can't really leave home until you turn 16, right? And there's no one really that's gonna leave home, you know, younger than 16. But in my country personally, there's there's kind of no age where you can leave home. You can leave whenever you want, but because, you know, a lot of teenagers don't have enough money or are not financially stable, should I say, to have their own homes and be able to provide for themselves, just you don't see a lot of people doing that. Actually, like the percentage is really low. And then we have number 3, drive a car. This one's obvious for a lot of countries. So depending on the country, you can have it at 16 or 18 or 17 with a special license until you turn 18. But in Egypt, it's 18. And actually, believe it or not, a lot of teenagers drive without a license. In a lot of countries too, not just Egypt, you know. You know, I see a lot of people driving cars without a license. Obviously, that's illegal and it could get you in trouble, but just letting you know that it happens, you know. But the age in Egypt is 18. And then we have 4, get married. And this one's pretty simple. Depending on the country, you could get married at either 18 or 21, right? But so for Egypt, I think it's around 18. Now let's go to exercise B. When can you do the things in exercise A in Britain? Okay, so the same exact things, but actually let me open this. Oh, and here we have the law, or should I say laws of Britain. Okay, so know the law. What can you do at your age in Britain? According to the law, use our easy guide to find out. So here we have, at 11, you can work for a few hours on a farm. At 12, you can buy a pet. At 13 years old, you can get a part-time job. You can only do light work. For example, many children deliver newspapers. And then we have, at 14, you can work in a shop or a supermarket. For example, some children stack shelves. At 16, you can leave school, okay. You can leave home. You can ride a moped. And at 17, you can drive a car. Okay, here we go. At 18, you can vote. You can marry. You can have a credit card, you can smoke, and you can buy cigarettes. Okay, so it seems that a lot of countries have this in common where, you know, the age where you're like legally an adult is 18. Okay? Some things obviously, like let's say for example drinking alcohol and buying that, you know, in some countries it's 18, some countries it's 16, and some countries it's 21. Okay, but we can all agree that 18 is the age of, you know, someone turning into an adult. Then we have at 19, you can drive a lorry. And finally, at 21, you can adopt a child. Okay, so now let's go here. Here we have first one is leave school. So when can you leave school in Britain? Let's actually look here. You can leave school at 16. So I could just write down at 16. Okay? And number 2 is leave home. And I want you guys to notice something here. When trying to look for information in a text, don't read the whole text over and over again. Just try to skim through it until you find the piece of information that you need. So for example, I know that at what age do I leave home? So I can just skim quickly until I find leave home, okay? All I need is this right here. I don't need to read all of that just to get here. So it is at 16 as well. So it seems like you can do a lot of things at 16 in Britain. So leave home at 16. Then we have number 3, drive a car. So when can you drive? Here we go, at 17. So at 17 years old, you can drive a car in Britain. And finally, 4, get married. When can you get married? I'm guessing 18, right? Yep, that's right. You can marry. By the way, the word marry and married, same thing, by the way. So at 18, you can marry / get married. Okay, so at 18. So leave school at 16, leave home at 16 as well, drive a car at 17, and get married at 18. Okay, now let's move on. Here we have exercise C. All the items and actions on the right are in know the law, and this here, know the law thingy. So actually, let's open this. Okay, so can you name any of the items or actions, and then find each word in know the law, read the sentence, is the word a noun or a verb, write N or V in the box next to each picture. Okay, and write the name of the item or action next to each picture as well. Okay, so here we have pictures, to sum it up short and sweet. Here we have pictures of certain jobs and places, right? And depending on the word, it's either a noun or a verb. So if it's a noun, we'll just write an N here. If it's a verb, we'll write a V here. Okay? And we're gonna have to, obviously, for example, this, let's say this is a farm. So you just write the name of the place or the name of the thing in the picture. Alright? So let's go. And here we have know the law. And obviously all of these things are in the know the law add thingy here. So we have at 11, you can work for a few hours on a farm. And would you look at that? I was correct. So farm. Okay? And farm is obviously a noun, you guys. Farm is not a verb. Okay? So farm, and now let's, what was number 2? Okay, number 2 is a dog. So this is probably a pet. You can buy a pet at 12. Here you go. Okay, so we have pet, right? And pet is a noun. Okay? Then we have number 3. This one's pretty obvious. You can get a part-time job. You can only do light work. For example, many children deliver newspapers. Okay? So here we have newspaper, and newspaper is also a noun, so here we have N. And okay, and here we have, I think it was something along the lines of stacking shelves. Let's actually look at that. At 14, you can work in a shop or a supermarket. For example, some children stack shelves. Okay, so do I have to, how can I write this? So, you know what I could do? I could write stack, or not stisk, that was weird, so stack. Okay, for some reason I cannot type today, damn. Stack, right? And we have shelves. Okay? And now I realize that this is both a noun and a verb. So what I could do is probably write both of them. So just V/N. Okay? So stack, shelves, V, and N. Okay? And I'm guessing this is, what was this called? A moped? Let's actually look at that. You can leave school at 16, you can leave home, and you can ride a moped. Okay? So simple. Moped right here. And obviously this is a noun. And what is that? Is this voting? I'm pretty sure that's voting. So you can drive a car, and finally at 18 you can vote. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's vote. So here we go, vote, and we have that is actually a verb, okay? Because I'm voting, it's an action that I'm doing, so that's a verb. And I'm guessing this is a credit card as well. So actually, let me check just to be sure. You can have a credit card. Yep, that's the one. So credit card. Okay, and credit card is obviously a noun, you guys. Now we have cigarettes. This one does not need explanation. Okay, so cigarettes. Boom, 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 cigarettes. Okay, and that is a noun. So cigarettes, noun. And you can drive a lorry. So if you guys were wondering what a lorry is, it's this big car right here that you can use to, you know, ship cargo or, you know, food and supplies to supermarkets and such. Okay, so I'm not gonna say lorry only. I'm gonna actually say drive and lorry. Okay, so the same thing with here, stack and shelves, and same thing as well. So it's both a verb and a noun. Okay, and finally we have, what is that? Is that like adopting a child, maybe? Oh yeah, it is. So at 21, you can adopt a child. So same thing again, adopt and child. Okay, both V and N, verb and noun. Alright, you guys? So that was pretty simple, actually. Yeah, that was really good. You can always pause and rewind if you need additional help with the exercise. Okay, but oh, here we go. Exercise E. What can you do in your country at your age? So this is just a simple list, and you can, you know, make of your own country and what can you do at your age right now. So I'm 18 personally. All of you are probably 18 or older. So just make a quick list of what can you do in your country. Let's say, for example, I'll name 3 things that I can do in my country. So for example, I can drive, I can buy a car, and I can definitely live alone or leave home. Okay, so you can make a longer list if you want, but other than that, let's move on to writing. Alright, you guys, now moving on to the final lesson of this unit right here, lesson 5, writing and grammar. Let's just hop right in. So we have exercise A. 1 letter is missing from each row. What is the letter? And second, read the skills check and check your answers. So let's actually just hop to the skills check first before doing the exercise. And here we have 1 letter and many sounds. It could equal many different sounds. So the letter A, for example, let's take the letter A here. It's not just gonna make that strict A sound, okay? So man, you see man, it does, I don't say man, I say man, okay? So as you can see, same letter but different sound. Baby, okay, so now that's the same A that we know, A, baby. Woman is entirely different. Was, grass. You guys see the difference? So man, baby, woman, was, grass. Then we have E. We have men, okay, person, she, and they. So men is not like she at all. You see the difference in pronunciation? Me, or men, and she. They, and person. Alright? Now, check this out. I, this one's probably the easiest. So, here we have child, children. You see the difference? It's like one is like a brick standing tall, and the other one is like a highway. Child and children. And finally, right. Okay? And O, we have woman, women, work, mother. Okay? Just a huge difference, you guys. So just focus on actually just trying to, you know, find the difference and being able to pronounce the words that have different sounds for letters. Okay? Now here we have, let's actually open this. Okay? Now read the skills check like we already did. Now let's check the words. Okay? So number 1 will be adult. Number 2 will be woman. Number 3 will be baby. And finally, teenager. Okay? So adult, woman, baby, teenager. Number 2, I think these are the ones with the E. So men, okay? Women, friend, and person. Okay, then we have child, I, children, friend again, okay, and finally right. Now we have woman, women, work, and finally mother. Alright, and actually as soon as I wrote that, you see the skills check popped up. That's a nice little feature right here. Alright, so now let's move on. Exercise B. Complete the text. Use a preposition from the box for each space. You can use some words more than once. Okay, so we have some prepositions. Actually, let me open it right here. And here we have some prepositions. Okay. And with these prepositions, we're gonna just cruise through the paragraph right here and just add the prepositions as we go. So, teenage life in Britain. You can get a job dash Britain. So you can get a job in Britain, right? So I use in with a country or with a period of time. Okay, so in this case it's a country, so you can get a job in Britain dash 13. I'm gonna use at. So where is at? At 13. So I use at with age. Okay, so 13 at. So at 13. But there are many laws. You cannot work dash 7 dash the morning. Okay, so let's actually go back here. You cannot work before 7, or actually where is it? Before, yep, right here. So before 7 or after 7. So, or after 7. You cannot work before 7. Or nope, this is actually wrong. In the morning, you guys. Did not notice the morning here. So you cannot work before 7 in the morning or after 7 in the evening. Okay? So we use in, like I said, with a period of time or country. Okay? So evening is obviously a period of time, and morning is also a period of time. Okay, so before 7 in the morning or after 7 in the evening. On a school day, I'm pretty sure this is on, so on a school day. Alright, so we use on with day. So for example, if I'm talking about a day or a specific day, I'll use on. Okay? Children go dash school dash Britain dash Monday dash Friday. Okay? So children go to. Alright? So I use to with a pretty much, school as in a fixed phrase, or simply a time or day. Okay? Not time of day. Time of day we're going to use in, so the evening, the morning, but time or day. Okay? So children go to school in, okay? In Britain, I told you guys in. From, here's from. Now from and to, you guys know we talked about this. So from and to, from Monday to Friday. You can only work, I'm guessing this is, you can only work for 2 hours, okay? So 4. So 4 is also used for a period of time. So you can only work for 2 hours, 3 hours, 7 hours, whatever it is, use 4 with it, for 2 hours on a school day, okay? So on a school day. Like I said, we use day or on with day. You can only work for 5 hours on Saturday, and 2 hours on Sunday. Okay? So you can get a job in Britain at 13, but there are many laws. You cannot work before 7 in the morning or after 7 in the evening on a school day. Children go to school in Britain from Monday to Friday. You can only work for 2 hours on a school day. You can only work for 5 hours on Saturday and 2 hours on Sunday. Right? Now let's move on. Here we have, look at the boxes, exercise C. Number the gray boxes in order, and where can you put the phrases in the green boxes before, after, or in the center of the sentence, and copy the words to make sentences. Actually, let me open this right here. Okay? So we have where can you put the, my bad. So we have school, children, leave, can, and we have at 16 and in Britain as green boxes. Okay, so I could probably say children can leave, or actually nope, school will be right here. So children can leave school. This is just a simple, the most basic sentence, okay? Now, if I want to add at 16 and in Britain, there are multiple ways where I can do this, right? So I can say children can leave school at 16, or I'm not too sure, this doesn't move. So, okay, so let's just say it orally. So children can leave school at 16 in Britain. This is one way to do it, and this will be to the end of the sentence. And we can also do it one more way. Children can leave school in Britain at 16. Okay, so now I have two ways. Children can leave school at 16 in Britain, or I could say children can leave school in Britain at 16. Okay, there's also one more correct way to say this. I could say children in Britain can leave school at 16. Okay, so for now, these are the ways to add at 16 and in Britain to this basic sentence right here. Alright, now let us move on. Here we have order the words in each row to make a sentence. Okay, so let's actually open this right here. Okay, we have Britain most in teenagers' cell phone, and full stop. Okay, so I could say most teenagers have a cell phone in Britain. Okay, so this is one way one way I could say it. I could also say in Britain. So for example, in, or I mean this is the correct one, the basic one, but I could also make it a little bit more complicated. In Britain, and then I'll put like a comma. Most teenagers have a cell phone, right? Or I could also say most teenagers in Britain have a cell phone. You see, I can just play with different, sentence types. You get the idea? So it's not one fixed answer. There are more than one, answer. So 14 at can get my job in you country. Okay, so I could say same thing. You can get a job at 14 in my country. Okay, so you can get a job at 14 in my country. I could also say in my country you can get a job at 14. Okay, so in my country you can get a job at 14. Now let's move on to number 3. We have 12 Tanzania in a married girl at can get. So I could say a girl, this is the basic one, a girl can get married, right here, so a girl can get married in Tanzania, okay, at 12. At 12 as in 12 years old, and wow, that is really young. So a girl can get married in Tanzania at 12. I could also say in Tanzania a girl can get married at 12. Okay, this is also correct. So now let's move on to the fun stuff here, the actual grammar stuff. Let's go. I mean, I'm not I was just joking, by the way. This was all grammar that we were talking about. So exercise E, look at table 1, complete the table. So we have children can work, and he wants us to add a preposition. So children can work dash a shop at 14. And you guys remember, where do we use in? We use in with a country or period of time, but it doesn't stop there. So depending on the noun, I could add in here, right? So children can work in a shop at 14. So children can work in a shop at 14. Number 2, many students live dash home until they marry. And I think I said this. Home is used with at, okay? So I could say many students live at home, okay? So I'll add actually, if I can open this, this would be, oh, here we go. This is much better. So I could say in here, in a shop, and many students live at home until they marry. Although I'm not too sure I agree with that one, but okay. So many students live at home until they marry, right? Most adults go dash work by car. So go from place to place, so to. So most adults go to work by car. Let's move on here to table 2. So exercise F, look at table 2 and complete the table. So here we have noun plus verb plus another noun, okay, plus other, so as an object, for example. So we have children can leave dash at 16, right? A few teenagers drive dash at 18. Most people stop dash at 65. So if I'm going to add, like, for example, a noun, I could say children can leave school / home, okay, at 16. I could also say a few teenagers drive, I could say cars at 18. That's the only logical answer. So a few teenagers drive cars at 18. Most people stop work at 65. Okay, so most people stop work at 65. Alright. So I could also say, like, just my own sentence here, I could say most teenagers start paying bills at 18. Okay, just a random sentence that popped into my head. Now let's go to exercise G. Look at table 3, complete the table. So same thing again. So teenagers dash or do not or have or don't have an MP3 player, and we could say others, for example Britain or 17. You know, you got the idea. So here we go. So teenagers, I could say here, I could say, for example, kids, okay, or most teenagers. Actually, no, I'm not gonna say kids. That was just weird. So most, okay, so most teenagers, okay, do not or don't, both are correct, have, so have is the exact same, an MP3 player or have a CD player, right? And in the other, that will be blank. And then number 2, teenagers can or can't or cannot drive or drive again, so drive a car or drive a lorry at, here I'm going to use at as a preposition, guys, okay? So at 17, okay? And I could say in as a preposition again, and Britain. Okay. So where were we? Yep, here we are. Drive a lorry at 17 in Britain, right? Now let's move to exercise H. Look at table 4. What do we call verbs like can and ask your partner questions about his or her country? Begin with can and you must get a negative answer. We'll just scratch that one off. So we have can. You guys remember can? We talked about it. I think it was unit 4. So you can always go back to, understand more about can. So can and cannot. Can teenagers vote in your country? It's a question. If I start with can, then you should know it's going to be a question, right? So can teenagers work, for example, in a shop? Or can people stop work at 60? Can people work in a shop? I know these can be weird questions, but they're correct nonetheless. Okay? So here we have now, what does he want exactly? So ask your partner questions about his or her country. So let's say, for example, if I want to ask you guys a question, I could say, can kids stop going to school in your country? Okay? Or can teenagers drive in your country? Can Can you chew gum in your country? I know, because I'm I'm really not too sure why I said that, but some people, some countries, or not some, I think it was one country like Singapore that banned chewing gum or something like that. But nonetheless, not our topic. Let's move on. So exercise I. Look at table 5. Where does the noun go? And actually, let me open this. Model, yeah, noun, infinitive, and other. So here we have, where does the noun go here? So as you can see, the noun here is teenagers, children, people. And is it before the modal or after the infinitive? Okay, so it's not after the infinitive, that's a fact. It's not also before the modal. So is it between the modal and the infinitive? Yes, it is. So we'll take this right here. Okay, so answers to these questions can be yes, they can, no, they can't. Okay, I don't need to go more specific. We talked about this before. So write 3 questions for your partner. I could probably say, you guys remember the questions that we just asked? So for example, can teenagers drive in your country? I'll probably answer by saying yes, they can. Something else can be, can children, or no, not children. Can, for example, expatriates vote in your country? And that is obviously a no-go. No expatriates vote whatsoever. So, alright, so this is kind of the idea. You should actually, as a project, or not a project, as just a simple exercise, you should just go and ask your friends these can questions and try and get an answer out of them. So now let's move on here to, here we have, actually before I move on, here we have the table 5, word, modal, noun, infinitive, and other. Okay, so here we have when, where, what. These are the question words. Then we have can, people. Now I'm asking more specific questions. So instead of saying, for example, can people vote in your country, or can teenagers vote in your country, I'm now getting more specific because I want a more specific answer. So if I tell you, for example, when can teenagers vote in your country? You can't say to me, yes they can, or no they can't. That's not a valid answer anymore. So you have to give me a more specific answer. So for example, they can vote when they turn 18. They can vote when they grow a little older. You get the idea. I could say, what can people do at 16, right? Or what can teens do at 16? By this, I could give an answer like, they could work for minimum hours, they could make minimum wage, they could play video games, whatever, but I can't ever say yes they can or no they can't with a question that starts with when or the question words. Okay? Now let's go to exercise J. Look at table 6 and find the question words, the pronoun, the infinitives, and the objects. Okay, so the question words, obvious. Here we have how and what. The pronoun will be you. Okay, the infinitives will be say, spell, call, and finally the objects will be this word, people, this thing. Alright, you guys? That was simple enough. Now let's move on. Turn the page here. Alright, here we have exercise A again. There is one mistake in each sentence. Find it and correct it. And before we do that, let's hop on to the skills check 1 here. So we have irregular plurals. So most nouns in English are regular. So for example, the plural is the noun plus s or es or ies. Okay? However, some nouns have irregular plurals and you must learn them. There's no way around that. So for example, here we have child, turns into a completely different word. So child, children, it's even pronounced differently. Man, instead of saying mans, I say men. Woman, women. Person, people. Different words, okay? And you have to learn these and memorize them. So here we have, let me actually open the exercise here. Here we have, there's one mistake in each sentence. Find it and correct it. So we have number 1, in Britain, childs do not go to school on Saturday and Sunday. Can you guess what's the wrong noun here? That's correct. There's nothing called child. Okay, so this will be children. Alright? So children will be number 1. So in Britain, children do not go to school on Saturday and Sunday. Number 2, there are 3 mans in my office. Obviously, mans is wrong. We don't have anything called mans in English, so men. So there are 3 men in my office. How many womens can you see in the picture? Again, same mistake. No, nothing known as womens. We have women. So instead of A, we write E, and that's the plural. So how many women can you see in the picture? And finally, we have number 4. A lot of persons in Britain don't smoke. And this is wrong. This will be people. So a totally different word. So people. Okay? So a lot of people in Britain don't smoke. Right? Now let's move on. Here we have exercise C. Study this sentence. Teenagers can leave school at 16. Okay? And he wants us to find and underline the nouns. What can we call the first noun, and what about the second one? Okay? So before we do that, let's actually read skills check 2. So we're going to be talking about the subject and object. So all verbs need a subject, okay? So I don't usually start my my sentence with a verb without a subject, right? So I can say, for example, work in a shop, right? That just doesn't make sense. Or if I say, for example, if I just scratch these right here, and I say can vote at 18, right? You simply don't understand, right? So I have to add a subject to make the sentence meaningful. So if I add teenagers can work in a shop, now it's a lot more understandable, and I actually know what the other person is saying. And they, a pronoun, so they can vote at 18, okay? So here we have teenagers can leave school at 16, okay? So find and underline the nouns. The nouns will obviously be teenagers, okay? So teenagers can leave will be the verb, and school will be the other noun. So teenagers and school, and at 16 is just other. We don't have that, okay? So what can we call the first noun? So obviously teenagers, that will be the subject, okay? And after the verb is the object, okay? And actually let's go to the skills check here. Many verbs need an object too. And listen, he said many verbs. He didn't say all verbs. So there are some cases where there can be, a verb without an object. It's just not that common, okay? But here he said all verbs need a subject, thus telling us that, you need a subject always with a verb, right? So let's take some examples here. Here we have teenagers can have a job. That's an object. They can leave school. Some children deliver newspapers. Okay? Teenagers can leave school. Okay? And here he says subjects and objects can be nouns or pronouns. So it's not just nouns, by the way. So it can be both nouns and pronouns. And often, not always, but often, the subjects are usually people. So for example, teenagers, adults, parents, you get the idea. And objects are things. And actually we have a good example here with our the sentence. So we have teenagers, people, can leave, that's the verb, and school. School is a thing. Okay? This is not always the case, by the way, but it happens often. Okay, you guys? So now let's actually go to exercise D here. Read the text about legal ages and mark the subject S, the verb V, and the object O. So let me actually open this right here. Okay, so let's actually read this first once, and then we'll add the subject, verb, and object. So, in Algeria, teenagers can leave school at 16. They can get a job at 16. Males can marry at 21. Females can marry at 18. Teenagers can drive at 18. They can vote at 18. Okay, so that was simple enough. So let's start now. So we have in Algeria, this is nothing. Teenagers can leave school at 16. Obviously, teenagers will be the subject. Okay, can and leave will both be verb. Okay, and school will be the object, right? And at 16 is simply just leave it blank. It's other. Okay, and then we have they can get a job at 16. So they will be the subject again. Can get will be the verb again. And a job will be the object. Okay? And at 16 is blank. Here we go again. Males can marry at 21. Males will be the subject. And notice how, I told you guys often the subject is people. Okay? So here we have good cases. So teenagers, they, and males. So S as in subject, can marry will be the verb. And at 21 is actually, we don't have an object here. You guys notice this? For a second I was like, where's the object? But turns out here we don't have object. Or the object. So males can marry at 21. This is a sentence that has only the verb, doesn't have the object. Right? And here we have females can marry at 18. So females will be the subject. Can marry will be the verb. And that's it. Okay, so no object here as well. Teenagers can drive at 18. So teenagers will be the subject. Can drive will be the verb. Oh, and at 18, this is also a sentence that doesn't have an object. And finally, I'm guessing this one doesn't have an object as well. This is weird. What is this number? So they will be the subject. Can vote will be the verb. And that's about it as well. So no object here. So we have two sentences that have object, right? And the object, and we have three or actually four, not three, 1, 2, 3, 4, that do not have an object. Alright, you guys? So now let's go to exercise E here, and before we do that, let's actually read skills check 3 because it's related. So joining sentences with and or but. So we can join sentences with similar information, okay, with and. So we use the word and with similar information. Okay, so for example, if I say, the legal driving age is 18, and you can also, work at 18. Okay, these are similar points, so I can use and to add them together. Okay, but when joining sentences with different information, we use but. Okay, so let's have an example here. Teenagers can drive at 18 and they can vote at 18. So you see the similarity? The similarity is obviously the number 18 as an age. So I use and to add two things together. So teenagers can drive at 18 and they can vote at 18. But if I want to talk about something completely different, here we go. Males can marry at 21, but females can marry at 18. And here's something that I actually want to talk to you guys about. The sentences that, he said the sentences in the text above are short. There's nothing there's nothing wrong with short sentences. It's just that people, sometimes, they can get more excited with longer sentences. Okay? So instead of me reading over and over, they can get a job at 16, they can leave school at 16, okay? It gets repetitive really quickly. So if I switch it up and say, teenagers can drive at 18 and they can vote at 18, now it's a lot more interesting. And that is why people use longer sentences, but there's nothing wrong with short ones, okay? Now, number 3 here, or actually, we have to go with number 1 first. Which sentences can we join with and or but? Okay, so I can probably say teenagers can leave school and they can get a job at 16. You guys remember pronouns and nouns, so I don't want to say teenagers twice. I don't want to sound repetitive. So instead of saying teenagers can leave school and teenagers can get a job at 16, it's correct, but it's repetitive. So instead I use they. So teenagers can leave school and they can get a job at 16. Alright? Now let's use but here. So males can marry at 21, but females can marry at 18. And this is actually one of the examples here. Okay, these examples are the same. Alright? So males can marry at 21, but females can marry at 18. Okay? Now let us move on here. And here we have exercise F. Read the sentences, circle the correct word or phrase in each case. And actually I'm going to open this right here. So number 1, most adults buy car to work or go to work by car. Obviously the latter is correct. To work by car is the correct answer. Number 2, children can a job have at 13 or have a job at 13. Obviously the latter is also true. So children can not a job have, that is not English, have a job at 13. Number 3, many children have a job. Am I talking about one job for one child or jobs for children? Yep, that's correct. The first one, I'm talking about jobs for different children. So many children have jobs. Okay? Now number 4, can vote teenagers in your country or teenagers vote in your country? And this is a question. So can teenagers vote in your country? Okay? Now number 5, when children can leave school, can children leave school? Also a question. So I'm not making a statement here. You know, I'll use this if I use it in the beginning of a sentence. I could say, for example, children can leave school by 2 p.m. Okay? I don't say that. So he's asking for a question. So when can children leave school? Okay? Here we have some old people don't have or have not a cell phone. And this is just easy. Don't have a cell phone is the correct answer. Number 7, do work you in a bank or do you work in a bank? So, and obviously this is a question, so do you work in a bank? 8, I live in or at a small house. Okay, so I live inside a small house. Okay, now it's simple enough. Now let's move on here. Here we have exercise G. Read the notes about Turkey and then write a short text and join some sentences. Use and or but. Okay, you guys remember and or but. So country, Turkey. So you can get a job, or teenagers can get a job at 13. They can leave school at 14, and wow, that's young. They can marry for 17 years old of age for males and 15 for females, and wow, that is really, really early. So you're telling me they can drive at 18, but they can get married at 15? That's insane. Not my topic, but just whatever. So marry, 17 for males and 15 for females. Teenagers can drive when they turn 18, and they can vote when they turn 18 as well. So now, let's write a short text and join some sentences. So I could say, let's find the similarities. So we have drive and vote. So I could say, teenagers, or actually, can I open this? I cannot, unfortunately. So we'll just have to do it this way orally. So drive, so teenagers can drive at 18 and they can vote at 18. You see how I got them together? Okay? And now using but, let's start with something, you know, kind of not negative, but yeah, sort of negative, and then we'll move to something positive. So I could say teenagers leave school, or can, sorry, not leave school. So teenagers can leave school at 14, but they can get a job at 13. Okay? You get the idea. Males, or actually let's use, yeah, same situation here. Males can marry at 17, but females can marry at 15. Okay? Now, here we have this is just something really simple to finish off the unit here. So exercise H, make notes about the legal age in your country. We already did this, but let's just do it again. You know, based on your country. There's no definitive answer here. You can pause the video, do it. Okay, so country, add information about more things, so information about legal age and getting a job. So getting a job in my country will probably be 16. So 16, just number 16. Leave school. I mean, culturally, people don't leave school at all, so I'll just say 18. Get married, probably 18 as well. Drive, definitely 18. And vote, I think it was 16. Alright? So, these are from my country. You can switch it up, you know, depending on your country and your laws. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next unit. Peace out.